Resurrection ends and I begin. Every mutant soul burns eternally in me. Feathers and wings beyond comprehension. Our talons, the focus, totality of mutant kind. I am every mutant now and forever. The Phoenix Force, the battle for all time. The epic concludes in the battle between those who are outside time and that which is now and forever. And the result is being decided by whether someone can ultimately make the right choice. The end of the Krakoan era barrels our way as the two series that are one concluded. Rise of the Powers of X, Volume 1, Issue 5, Now and Forever. At the once white, once hot room, a corpse out of time, the Phoenix begins. The Phoenix is reborn. Out comes Jean Grey, reborn as the Phoenix. With an explosion of fire, we have the Phoenix reborn. The Phoenix is beginning, and it's time for the Phoenix to feed, but not like before. This time it's different. This is where the Phoenix begins, where the flame of hope grows. The Phoenix is Jean Grey, and Jean Grey is the Phoenix, but the Phoenix is not just Jean Grey. The Phoenix is taking us to the waiting room, where all the mutants from the waiting room, every mutant that was in the heavens, the ones created by Scarlet Witch, had been sitting, waiting to become part of the Phoenix on this day. Resurrection ends and Phoenix begins. Every mutant soul burns in the Phoenix's feathers and wings beyond the comprehension, representing the truly focused totality of mutant kind itself. The Phoenix is now every mutant, forever absorbing all mutants in the waiting room. Jean Grey and the Phoenix take off to face the Dominion. Jean Grey says, "We need to stop Enigma," and asks the Phoenix, "Are you willing?" The Phoenix replies, "You ask if I will burn away a machine made of lies. Mother, it is what we do." From the events of the fall of the House of X, issue 5, on Krakoa, Earth, Rasputin screams out, "Krakoa victorious." However, another battle is unfolding. Jean Grey, the Phoenix versus Enigma. Cyclops is confident, saying, "If Jean is on it, we've won it." Meanwhile, Mrs. Sinister is not so confident and asks Destiny what she sees. Destiny replies, "The second kindest thing I will ever do for you, Sinister, is not share what I'm seeing." Enigma tells Jean Grey and the Phoenix Force all of the minions have descended from across space. Together we will ensure you are never a threat to us ever again. This battle will be brief. The combination of Jean Grey and the Phoenix Force replies, "If we have to, we'll fight you all the Dominions." However, this is a battle that not even Jean Grey and the Phoenix Force can overcome. This is where things go sideways for Enigma, because all the other Dominions turn their backs on him. The way the Dominions see it, they are beyond all the petty warfare, squabbling, and linear thinking. They have no fear and let him know that to truly become a Dominion means escaping all this. When all the others possess are you, and how can you fear them? Choosing to return to war and genocide means continuing to see others as threats rather than as potential allies. They tell Enigma that while he may become a Dominion, he hasn't ascended as he properly should have. They tell Jean Grey and the Phoenix Force they wish them no harm now and forever. They are outside and there is no overlap. Any action you take to defend yourself against Enigma is acceptable to all Dominions. They say, "We will see you soon, never and always." The Dominions then take off. Enigma is very disappointed in the other Dominions. He thought they would join forces to destroy Jean Grey and the Phoenix Force. As the odds have been evened out a little bit, Enigma says, "You're still a bird fresh from the egg. I wanted to stand with my fraternity as it would be more efficient, but I raised myself higher than they ever has by the longest ride unimaginable. I'm not afraid to fight, but ultimately I don't have to. I have more places to hide, and you have things I can hurt. Find me before I destroy everything you ever made." Enigma runs away to hurt people Jean loves. Jean says to the Phoenix Force, "Catch him quickly." Professor X has made his way into the enemy's nest. He is at Orchid's headquarters and has finally met the person he has done all this for. He finally runs into Moira. He tells her that he is here, open her mind. If they're going to talk, it needs to be a more suitable manner. Charles physically connects to Moira. She believes she's a robot and says, "Can't do a telepathic takeover. You can't even project. I have defenses. How did you get into my mind?" Charles Xavier responds, "This isn't a takeover, but a signal. You can leave at any time. You are a thinking creature. I left a beacon. I could guide this message to you. It's time to remember what happened. Charles Xavier wants to remember. As a memory, Charles Xavier holds a gun to a young Moira. She says, "You came back to kill me? You even pulled the trigger." Professor X admits, "Yes, I let you live because I was convinced to follow another route, one that involved having faith in you and your better nature." Moira retorts, "You showed me that you almost gunned down a 13-year-old, and now you ask me to take the moral high ground?" Professor X responds, "Yes, I know I told everyone it was unlikely, yet this is where we find ourselves." We pick up with Jean Grey trying to find Enigma. Jean is fighting him, trying to locate him throughout time. Enigma is hiding anywhere he can. Jean is the Phoenix. The Phoenix is Jean, now and forever. Enigma is going through time to change things in Jean's life. Enigma first goes to Jean Grey's parents to strengthen their will not to send Jean to the strange school. Then Enigma copies Jean's full personality and implants it into Madeline to be activated when Scott decides to leave her. Enigma ensures that Jean Grey does not notice her husband's emotional affair with Emma Frost until later. In Judgment Day, the Agitator passes her, increasing her arrogance and leaving her vulnerable. Enigma is trying to hide, and time is not on the side of Jean Grey and the Phoenix Force. Each time, Jean catches the mistake, but it only takes one slip to alter everything forever. Back at Orchis, Charles Xavier says, "Knowing who you are, I knew you would join Enigma. As such, you are a small part of it now. That is what I needed. I knew if I did the odious thing Orchis demanded, I could find my way to you when you were deep in the camp of the enemy and have the chance to make you turn back." Moira says, "I finally found an escape from the trap my damaged genes have built for me. You really think I'm going to back off?" Charles Xavier responds, "The Dominion grew from Sinister. It is Nathaniel Essex you'll be making king of the universe. That is Orchis' great sin, not to make AI, but to realize AI they were enabling." Moira says, "Essex, I can't do anything. I'm not a Titan yet, and even if I were, if I attack him, he'd just chew me up." Professor Xavier says, "As we speak, Jean is fighting him across all that ever was. She cannot land a blow because she cannot find him. If you activate the signal I put in your brain when you were 13, she could find you." Moira says, "You can't be asking me to do this, you bastard." Charles Xavier replies, "All the things I've done, the murder, betrayal, colluding with my other righteous to understand the Phoenix enough to put this all together. I've done this to be here to ask you to be a better person. Whatever is left of your soul, you can save it now. You will have to live with your decision forever next to the monster you have put on a throne. How long could you bear it? Because you will have to for time beyond time. It's not too late. In a world of worse choices, you could make the best choice you can." Moira says, "I just wanted to live, to not be trapped. Why are you trying this? Really? What makes you think this can't work?" Charles Xavier said, "At the start of this, I believed in you. You took us to Krakoa, and for a while it was wonderful. This all came from me believing in you, and in the end, I would hate to have been wrong about everything." Moira, with tears streaming down her face, says, "God, Charles, I would love to disappoint you." Charles able to convince Moira to send out the signal to Jean Grey, telling Jean to come and get her. In a matter of moments, the Phoenix arrives, and we see Moira burnt to a crisp. With Moira taken out of the picture, Enigma must face the Phoenix one-on-one. "All right, let the fight begin." Enigma is ready. As Jean Grey says, "It doesn't matter how powerful you are. You're only one." The Phoenix is the X-Men. This is where we see spirits of every X-Man that was in the waiting room. 200,000. Every X-Man that was absorbed into the Phoenix. They come forth, including Storm, White Queen, Magic, Colossus, Jubilee, Cannibal, Rogue, Magneto, Dazzler, Forge, Sync, Polaris, Shadowcat, Firestorm, Gambit, Penance, Psylocke, Prodigy, Frenzy, Nightcrawler, Manifold, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, Goblin Queen, Nova Castro, Sunfire, Wolverine, Kid Omega, Gwenpool, John Ironfire, Callisto, Blob, Toad, Cardinal, Sage, Banshee, Pyro, and many, many others. All the astral form X-Men come forth to dominate Enigma. This is more than just throwing punches, kicks, and elbows. This is seeing Enigma in a more humanoid form, looking more like Sinister. The fight, the battle, it's more about strategy and who can summon up the most ultimate power. Jean Grey Ray, the Phoenix Force, and the power of all X-Men say, "You can't stop us all." Enigma responds, "I won. I was there. I have seen every situation. I believe that I won. But this has never happened before. This doesn't happen." He thinks maybe he can hide, but he can't get away. This is the end of Enigma. As the Phoenix drives Wolverine's claws right through the skull of Enigma, the claws of the Phoenix itself, the talons that are weapons of devastation, are what dropped the Dammion out of existence. Enigma says, "This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. I can hide. There has to be somewhere I can hide." Silent. With the return of Jean Grey, everybody celebrates, knowing that the day has been won and Enigma has been defeated. Jean Grey smiles, going to the arms of Cyclops, grabbing hold of him and kissing him. She says, "We have got all the time in the world." Rasputin 4 is still around and looking to end Sinister's life, but nobody knows where he is. Destiny reassures them, saying that he's elsewhere, but not to worry because he will get his due. As we pick up 1 week later, we find Charles Xavier sitting on a bench, waiting for the arrival of the cavalry. He knew they would come as soon as he showed his face again. Guns drawn. Professor Xavier is taken into custody. It's safe to assume Charles Xavier, Professor X, is going to be Inmate X in X-Men from the Ashes. The timeline has not been reset. All events Krakoa exist. The series ends with Krakoa still existing on Earth 616. In the white-hot room, there are over 200,000 mutants who are starting a new Krakoa, and maybe this time they can actually achieve a nation of peace. Enigma's fragments have been scattered across reality, with the Phoenix dispersing Enigma as a message to anybody who might ever threaten them again. The Tiger, the internal foe the Phoenix defeated, returns to sulk in the darkness around the white-hot room. The Tiger God, known in the pages of Iron Fist, is the antithesis to the Phoenix Force, light and dark. The series also ends with Moira Tiger showing us that her mutant gene, which was supposed to be activated at age 13, it doesn't. Moira is finally free. Next, X-Men Volume 6, Issue 35, Legacy 700.